teach your children well. Their fathers help.
The difficulties in your life, the obstacles that you've met, I'm not sure if we overcome our obstacles. How have they influenced your teaching and practice? And you know, and I'm not, you know, I know that many know that you've had cancer, and you've had a hip replacement, but it's not just these big events in life. There's many obstacles that we have to confront every day.
Well, actually, I think I would sort of like to answer the converse or the inverse of the question, because I think my struggles with yoga and like tackling certain difficult poses has probably influenced my life sort of outside the classroom or the practice room more so than the events of my life sort of have influenced me in terms of how I approach yoga. A good example is like when I first started, even though I was 27 years old, pretty strong, pretty fit, couldn't do handstand, just felt like it was impossible. It was out of the realm of possibility, and then I got Mary Dunn to sort of break it down for me. I can't remember exactly the epiphany I had, but at some point I learned how to kick up into handstand.
I'm just laughing because Mary taught me some stuff in handstand.
Yeah, well, Mary actually taught me. She didn't so much teach me how to do handstand, but she taught me how to teach it. Yeah. And so it was like poses like that, and then like once I could do handstand, I went like, well, I'll never be able to balance. And I mean, I really was convinced, it was like, it's not going to happen, you know. And it wasn't like I was brooding over it, or it was like this dark cloud, like I'm never going to be able to balance and handstand. But then I decided, just because Mary Dunn was coming to town in about 4 weeks, I said, I'm just going to like try to balance in handstand. I know it's sort of going to be fruitless, but I'm going to try it for like 15 minutes for every day until Mary gets here, because for whatever reason, because I still really felt like wasn't going to happen, but I felt so like obligated to maybe to try, even though there's not a big emphasis in balancing, in full arm balance in the Iyengar method. And then lo and behold, probably 12 weeks into this little goal or this sector of time, I balanced. You know, it was like probably 3 or 4 or 5 seconds. And so in a sense, I had done, in my mind, what I'd really considered impossible. Yeah. So when I do sort of come up against obstacles in life, I sort of use my metaphorical experience in doing yoga postures where I felt like, no way, you know, like some people say, not in this lifetime or whatever. That sort of influence was really more of an influence on my life than my life being an influence on how I approach yoga. So when I was first diagnosed with melanoma, it was like, you know, it's like,
can I balance in the middle of the room?
It was like, you know, this is a very deadly disease. And the stage I had, I don't know what the prognosis is, but I'm guessing that probably 70%. And of course, the treatment is better now than when I was diagnosed about 9 years ago. I bet you the mortality rate was probably like 70 to 80% within a couple of years. And so the fact that I had sort of done what I considered sort of impossible at the time, I felt like, well, it's not necessarily probable that I'm going to survive a long period of time, but I realized it was certainly possible. So even if the odds were 99 to 1% that you were going to survive for 3 years or 5 years, well, someone has to fall into that 1 percentile. And even though it seems like drawing a number out of a hat and sort of or cutting a deck of cards and trying to draw the ace of hearts, you might think like odds of that happening are
as a result of that
very sort of long, but someone you know, if you get enough people to cut the card, someone's going to pull the ace of hearts out. And so that was a big influence on my attitude in terms of my diagnosis. I sort of felt like as much as I didn't feel like, well, why me? Because I know enough about cancer, or knew enough about cancer going in, and certainly know a lot more about it now. But a lot of people go, why me? Other people go, why not me? And so it's the same thing with survival. You know, some people have survivor's guilt. And they go like, why me? You know, why did I survive it and my sister not, or whatever? But then it's also, you know, like, why not me?
Teach your children well. Their father's help did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams.